Hey guys, Lex here again with another video. This is going to be similar in tone to my previous one, which was honestly pretty critical of how GGG implemented some of the warrior skills we all use and how some just don't work as intended. Looking at you, Herald of Ash. But real quick, before I go any further, I do want to say that, hey, this is one of my favorite games ever, and I have no plans of stopping anytime soon, despite another critical video. But what I wanted to talk about here is another genuine issue, which I do think is a genuine oversight with how active block works in the game, most noticeably in boss fights. Some of you may know about my Can You Block That series that I started recently, which I do plan on continuing, but not until I see a sign from GGG that there are some major overhauls with how certain boss moves and mechanics interact with active block, because right now there isn't a lot of consistency, as you're about to see. Anyways, that's the intro, let's get into the video. Alright, so as a baseline, real quick, I know I've gone over this before, but we'll establish what active block does. And it is basically a game mechanic that is attached to certain channeling skills like resonating shield, shield charge, and raise shield, which allows your character to block all incoming hit damage in a wide angle wherever your character happens to be facing while channeling one of these skills. Historically, you could only block strikes and projectiles with this mechanic, but as of 0.3, they buffed blocks to be able to negate damage from all hits, which means they now include area of effect attacks. This effect was only previously attainable with the old Warbringer Ascendancy node, Turtle Charm, which they changed to compensate for the maximum block chance nerf that they implemented alongside this new block buff to balance things out. In those same patch notes, and even in the current block tooltip, we see further clarification that the only hits that are specifically unblockable are the moves indicated by the red glow animation and audio cue during boss fights. Or so we are told. So that's basically what active block does in so many words. I mean, any of you that have played shield builds or used shield skills are likely familiar with how it works and ultimately how good it has been feeling, to be honest. I used to carry a lot more about reaching passive block chance cap on my characters, but these days, with how strong active blocking is in general, I just find myself relying on active block and stacking a bit of stun threshold instead. But let's talk about what's been going on in the game. So first off, I absolutely love the ability to block AoE attacks. It feels great, but there is already a little bit of inconsistency here. I noticed that sometimes you have to face the center of certain AoE attacks, while other times it doesn't matter where you are facing at all. Even with AoE effects from projectiles that look very directional, you can literally turn your back to certain AoEs and block them with no problem. But then there are others where you have to face the direction the AoE is coming from to block it. Maybe this is intentional, I don't know, but this is definitely something that stands out to me as a potential error. And now let's get to the more obvious mistakes here. Yeah, you know those red flash, red animation, unblockable attacks we mentioned earlier? Turns out you can fully block a lot of them. Sorry for any of you fellow shield warriors that have also been exploiting this, but yeah, these so-called unblockables are very inconsistent as far as which ones can be blocked and which ones are true unblockables. And on top of that, there are also moves that have no red animation windup, no red flash, that are legitimately unblockable. You can actually see this inconsistency as early as the first boss of the game, the Bloated Miller. He sometimes performs the slow wind-up overhead swing that has both a melee and shockwave portion to the attack, and despite the red flash animation, both parts of this attack are fully blockable. As a quick aside, he can also hit behind your shield with this very silly backhand attack, which I've mentioned before. GGG, please fix this, unless you want this to hit us, I guess. There are also several other examples, even in just Act 1, the Devourer's red flash projectile attack, that's totally blockable. The Executioner's red flash attack with the fire crater in the ground, this is also totally blockable. The Crowbell's horizontal swipes in the third phase, 100% blockable. And Candlemass, hilariously, every single one of his red flash attacks is blockable, not even kidding. This error obviously extends beyond Act 1. I won't spend a whole lot of time going through each and every example here. I'll show you some more clips, but the point is there are many red flash attacks that are supposed to be unblockable that are completely blockable. And guess what? We have some pretty normal looking attacks which are ironically completely unblockable. I'll use Wrathbreaker from Act 2 as an example, but he has this overhead swing he performs in Phase 2 that has a pretty mild windup, I'd call it, but it is completely unblockable, guys. I've tried facing different directions too in case it was one of those directional AoE issues, but nope, this just hits you no matter what. Another great example is Captain Heartland, who is usually the first boss in Act 4, depending on how you progress through it. He has quite a few anchor slam attacks and overhead swings that are straight unblockable despite having no red flash animation windup. And these are not directional AoE attacks either, there's just no blocking them. Ironically, the reskin of this boss, which you run into the interlude acts and in maps, Etzara the Cobra Lord has a mostly similar move set, and yet all of this boss's versions of those very same slam attacks and overhead swings are completely blockable. There are quite a few other examples on different boss moves that are unblockable when they should be blockable, like the projectiles from the Act 2 Colossus boss fight, and even some regular mobs that have some hit attacks you can't block, like those guys who carry the big circular stones. But I'm going to stop here for now because I think my point is made. And that point is this. GGG, just maybe take another pass at all of the mob and boss moves in the game and seeing if they are appropriately tagged as blockable or unblockable in your code. I mean, or whatever. I'm not a game dev, but I imagine there must be a way to ID all of these moves based on whether or not they are blockable or unblockable for a fix, right? But hey, maybe some of this is intentional, so I could be wrong here, but I'll be honest, most of it feels unintentional, so this is something I just wanted to bring to GGG's attention for a closer inspection. Anyways, that's about it. I know that the title and the thumbnail of this video implies that there's something wrong with active block, but it seems more like there's something wrong with the attacks themselves being considered blockable or not, rather than active block not working as intended or something, because it mostly does. There's just a pattern of red flash attacks that should not be blockable and are blockable, while there are attacks that look blockable and aren't blockable. Anyways, that's about it. I know that the title and the thumbnail of this video implies that there's something wrong with active block, but it seems more like there's something wrong with the attacks themselves being considered blockable or not, rather than active block not working as intended, because it mostly does. There's just a pattern of red flash attacks that should not be blockable and are blockable, while there are attacks that look blockable and aren't blockable. This may also affect passive block too, though truth be told I did not end up testing that, so I leave it up to the devs to, check out that whole side of the issue as well. But that's going to be it for this video, guys. I will see you in the next one.